You talk about like how meteoric his rise was. So he goes on TV in 56. And then, everybody knows that, right? That he's on Ed Sullivan. He's shaking his hips. He scares the shit out of everybody. And then he goes in the Army in 58. So it was like 2 years, dude, and he's out. He's gone.
Yeah.
And he was like, just think of anybody. I don't know. Think of like Taylor Swift did that. It's not like he died, right? It's not like Kurt Cobain passed away or Buddy Holly died. Like he went into the Army, so he's like alive, but he's just gone.
It was a different time, though. You have to remember, like even in World War II, the baseball players were stopped playing ball.
Yeah,
this was a different time. You had to go in and give your 2 years. It was like he got drafted. That's what happened.
Right. No, it's a good point.
That's what happens.
That it was more part of culture that people
it was a different time.
Right.
But the colonel totally cashed in on that. He's like, great, awesome. Like, we're going to take you away for 2 years, put you in the Army, and this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then you come back, and then we're going to exploit you.
Yeah, and we'll get to that piece of shit. He's in the next paragraph of my notes. But so Elvis, and he gets out of the Army in 60, and he only performs once. And between then and the comeback special in 68. And that was, I think... Was it the Arizona Memorial and Pearl Harbor?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
And then, so, it's funny, man. Like, by the time he does the 68 special, his wife goes, I've never seen you perform live. Yeah. She's never seen him in concert. Yeah. Which is just like, that just blows your mind.
Well, she was so young. How was she?
Right. And I also think a little bit about like what was going on in music at the time. So I looked a little bit around like all the guys that Elvis came up with. So 57, Jerry Lee Lewis, he's out because he got arrested. He got busted for marrying his cousin. Little Richard goes like, he becomes a preacher in 57. Buddy Holly dies in 59. Chuck Berry goes to jail in 59. So all those are like, that's within 2 years of like rock and roll starting.
Sure.
So by now, by like 1959, 1960, man, Elvis is kind of like the dinosaur that's still around, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
how fast music changed.
In rock and roll, 5 years is a long time.
Sure.
You're around.
Sure. Right. And then all this change, and then he goes in the Army.
Yeah.
Right. And then by the time he comes out, man, it's like the world is like, so you got between then and 68. So you got Motown has started, the Beatles, the Stones, the Who, Hendrix, the Beach Boys. All are around. The Monterey Pop Festival happened, the Summer of Love. You get the riots in Chicago, and then like JFK, RFK, and MLK are all assassinated. But by the time he goes into the Army, by the time he does his show, America is completely changed.
Completely changed.
Like the innocence of America has changed.
Yeah, dude, like that American Pie episode we did. It's all gone.
Yeah, like during Vietnam's going on, everybody's confused what's going on.
Yeah, the Bobby Sox and the drive-ins and all that shit, man, it's all over.
Yeah.
It's just, it's crazy.
In 10 years, though, too, just think 10 years, it just changed.
That's a lot. Like, that's a long time, though.
From like getting transistor radio to walking on the moon.
Yeah.
You have to think.
Yeah.
It was like that big, like not the industrial revolution, but like it was like the after industrial. It's the baby boomer thing going on. Like the country wasn't evolving. Like you had the media, you had the news. Like, you know what I mean? You had Vietnam on TV. So people didn't have the blinders on anymore. So how could you like really take Elvis Presley serious at that point?
He did all those crappy movies.
Exactly.
But here he is on the special. Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to rock out.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to truly rock out that I haven't done in like 10 years.
Yeah.